June 3rd, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looks like at the moment. And again, just recording, kind of stopped trading a little earlier than I usually do now because I can see from my metrics that I do get sloppy after about 10 o'clock Pacific Standard because I think my mental capital definitely gets exhausted during the first 3.5 hours. That if I push it, I might find another trade, but I also know that I start taking really sloppy setups. So I was fortunate to take a profitable trade. It would be, I would consider more of a, mediocre or medium probability setup, not really a high probability. And I'll get to it when I get to it. And I just saw a bunch of black marked arrows, which are just kind of like setups that almost turned out but weren't quite there. And as you can see, the market just kind of sold off in two legs, went sideways, small little bounce sideways, and sold off in the shallow channel. Now it looks like it's making two legs up, made a measured move. The only economic data that came out was at 5:15 Pacific Standard, which is about right here. And I don't know, it could have caused this sell-off maybe. And it was the ADP Non-Farm Employment Change. And then also at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard, which is about right here where this big candle was. And that was the ISM Services PMI. Other than that, there was really no other information that came out. So in the pre-market, prices sold off, bounced sharply, and then it started moving down this shallow channel here, broke, kind of looked like it was moving sideways, maybe one leg up sideways and a second leg up. It's a localized high. Overall, the market looks like it's kind of pushing down. I was thinking maybe it's going to be in this range here defined by this pre-market low and then the pre-market high, but it quickly kind of broke out of that, kept going down. So it breaks out of this orange down channel, tests the low, but it really just kind of moves sideways and it pushes down and continues selling off. It was far from the EMA. I tried to find something, some kind of channel to make it fit, and the best I could do is maybe this touching here, but then they really never confirmed the third time before it kind of got out of there. So then I was just kind of trading smaller channels, but even then, it was just kind of a really, really congested sell-off. So prices here are moving down, but each candle is overlapping the previous by quite a bit. So it kind of makes it a little bit harder to trust that there's going to be a sudden reversal. So it hits a low of day, pushes up on this green up channel, breaks out of this trend line, which I don't really respect too much because it doesn't have too many confirmations. But I'm thinking it's moving up this green up channel, break, test the high, makes a second attempt, and I was thinking maybe it's going to reverse back down, but it starts moving sideways. It just used this candle because at the time I thought maybe there's a triple test, but there's really nothing here. It's just something I kind of a mental, I guess like a mental wish or something. I just saw something, I marked it. It's in my notes, but there's nothing really here, so nothing of note. And it pushes out and it starts moving sideways again. And this actually sets up around one and only trade. It's a not high probability, it's more of a medium probability, I guess. So I do have this established now. I have it as a loose channel, but I don't really trust this channel yet, so it never got colored in because I do have 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch. So I at least trust the low side pretty well. Whether it's a channel or not, I'm not too sure, but I think it's in a range. Does it range, pushed up, move to second range? So it starts here, creates a first entry long, pullback, creates a second entry long. So it looks like it's 2 legs down. It's bouncing off the EMA. So when I first saw this, I noticed that this is only a 7-tick candle bouncing off the EMA, bouncing off the bottom of this range. And so I actually let this open. It chopped around, it broke below this guy. Then it rallied hard, engulfed this guy. I drop my order in, it hits the high, comes back, picks me up. So then I put my stop not below this candle, but below this one. So from here to my stop was actually, I think, 3.25 risk or 3.3.5. And I was going for 6 ticks. So the risk reward is a little like, 1 to 2, a little bit better than some of the other trades I've taken where the risk is way bigger than the 6 ticks I was going for. Now, I do keep note that there was enough room to get my 6 ticks before it hit this top line here. So it pushes down. I did have to take a little bit of heat because I thought this candle would have stopped me out, reverses up, and then I got my 6 ticks. So stayed within this range. Breaks, and then it looks like it's 3 consecutive ranges. I didn't draw this one, but it looks like this one is kind of operating in its own tiny little range here. So when I see this in real time, I'm just wondering what's going on. I do know the EMA is starting to curl up, and it's looking like it might start to become reliable. So I did have this drawn initially, but I kind of eventually deleted it because this two overlapping thing got a little confusing. Breaks, holds against this, because initially I thought this was a failed breakout and a second entry long here, first entry long, second entry long. So I actually deleted this guy. Wasn't too trusting of this, but I trusted this support at the time. I'm just kind of watching now. Kind of bounces. It's really congested. I thought it might have been trading in this larger gray trading range. There are second entries by the technical count in here, but prices are just very tightly moving right now. Because you could see from like the 75.90 to about 75.95. So this is roughly about a 7 to 8 point range. And I'm going for 6 ticks, which, it will fit in here really nicely. But I need to have an entry or the setup down here to go long, or the sell off or the short to go here to go sell, to ensure I got my 6 ticks. But it didn't quite do that, just kind of oscillates in the middle of this, which is up. I noticed a triple test, but there's no clean setup here. I mean, it would have been great if this candle broke above this green one by 1 tick and then closed at the low, matching this one, or at least breaking slightly below. But unfortunately, then that would have been great because it would have looked like 2 legs up and then another pushback down, but it didn't happen. Here now, the EMA doesn't really seem to matter because the prices aren't respecting it. It's going both above and below. Pushes down. By technical count, you do have a new high. You have a first entry long pullback, second entry long, and you do have a higher low. I marked this as a black triangle because it actually can be seen as visual first entry, pullback, second entry long. So visual second entry long or a higher low. Unfortunately, this candle gave me a little bit of doubt. It closed with too much stem here. And I was thinking this range could be this could be a valid range with prices pushing back up, but this is the final gate, the final gatekeeper, and this candle didn't form right, so I didn't really like it. Pushes up, starts chopping around. I was thinking this is one leg. Could it be 2 legs up? Then it kind of created another leg. So I thought it was 1 leg, maybe 2 legs here, and then maybe it might make another measured leg down to match this orange one. It eventually does, but it does it in such a choppy fashion that's hard to trust that this 2 legs here are clean and valid, that prices will, maybe correct back up. So it just, even though it made this measured move here, there's nothing I could really tell that it occurred very clean. So it pushes down, starts moving up this channel again, pushes back down. So it's like localized high, first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Pushes down again, pushes up, and starts moving sideways. I drew this transparent channel because initially I had it, I'm not going to try to adjust the one that's there. I had this slightly tighter here. I'll go ahead and highlight it. So this is what I was thinking at the time. It looked like it was kind of good. It kind of fit pretty well. And then later I said, there's a lot of these breaks below and above. And I ended up with this maybe transparent one. So it just got a little confusing. Hits a localized low, first entry short, pull back, second entry short. Second entry short looks like it failed right here, but I don't like buying into this potential EMA resistance. Even though the EMA isn't super reliable, it's just a little bit of cause for concern. So I wasn't really sure what I was looking at. And then it moved sideways, broke down, 2 legs down, hit another localized low. First entry short, second entry short. Unfortunately, not a good signal bar. You get a lower high here. Again, it's a doji. And unlike the trade that I took with the doji, it was at least had a smaller risk profile because it's only 7 ticks. This one is a little bit larger. This is about a full 12 ticks. Starts moving down, hits the low of day, pushes up. Looks like it's a first entry long pullback. I found a hidden second entry long here, but I can't take this trade even though it's bouncing off the EMA. I'm expecting a push and test at the top of the green or extreme of the green, but it's really close to this localized high. Pushes up, pushes back down. Looks like it might be a bounce. It pushes back up and it flushes down. Break, test of the orange, down channel extreme. So it looks like break, test of the low, makes a second attempt. It looks like it's starting to reverse. So I thought this was like a localized high. First entry long pullback, second entry long pullback, higher low. Unfortunately, it's not the right signal bar color, so I have to leave it alone. And it's about right where I started to record the video. It pushes up, and right now it's like a first entry long pullback. There might be a second entry long setting up here, but let's just go ahead and real time see what I'm thinking. Maybe something here, but even then, this doesn't really fit nicely as a channel. So if it does bounce here, like a first entry, second entry, I do want to see a higher low confirmation. Actually, this would be pretty nice if it kind of sets up as a first entry, second entry. Maybe there'll be a second entry long, but this candle has to form right. It has to bounce off the EMA. It could be bouncing off this. So let's just see if I'm just going to actually watch this in real time. About 80, 72 ticks before it finishes. But it has to give me a first entry pullback. It has to, this section might end as an inside bar. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video before I get tempted to take a trade that I'm not really prepared for. But if it does form in here, it does have to break out of this guy. Ideally, a break below this candle, touch the EMA, bounce off, and then close nicely with a bullish bar. But it can't be inside. It can't be inside to this because then that leaves me doubt. And then I have to wait for the candle after this one. So that's all the charts today. I'm going to just walk away with the one trade before I make a poor decision, which I usually do when I've admittedly I'm mentally exhausted. Well, not mentally exhausted, but my mental capital being sharp is pretty much spent. So I'm not going to push it. So hopefully that was helpful.